our main newscast for today. That should be November 8th, 2020. I am Joshua Van Slyckman. Thank you for joining us. Just before we bring to you your news in details, let me bring to you or read to you today's front page comment. Today's front page comment is entitled, "No Laws Broken, But Dreams Were." After months of silence, Vice President Jagdeo went public to claim that no laws were broken in the Kanji and Kaieteur oil blocks giveaway. This statement confirms that a moronic mindset rules this land. At a time when Guyanese hearts are broken, Jagdeo's defense of the oil giveaway flies in the face of all that is considered right. The Kanji and Kaieteur blocks were not his or former President Ramatar's or former Minister Prasad's to give away. These blocks belong to Guyanese. The country's leaders are not stewards entrusted to obtain the maximum returns from these blocks. Instead, the nation got nothing. And yet, this financial guru says no laws were broken. Obviously, the VP inhabits a different universe from the rest of us. For there, he was being disingenuous, in which he said not breaking the law, but it should be. There he was like an ostrich, burying his head in the sand to evade responsibility and accountability. Men, especially national leaders, are not supposed to be mindless, without morals and principles. Clearly, the Vice President takes Guyanese for fools and believes that he can shovel any fifth at them and get away with it. How long will right-thinking Guyanese allow him and his clique to get away with these treasures? Secretly giving away these oil blocks, which he says is not breaking the law, breaking the dreams and shattering the hopes of poor Guyanese, are also legal. Don't they amount to breaking the law? Would Jagdeo sign away his mansion, pension, and savings to cooperate to comrades without a pin to their name? No, he wouldn't do that. But that is what Ramatar and Prasad did. And now, Mr. Jagdeo steps up to defend this revolting act. Since it is not illegal, they might as well give away everything for free. And while they are at it, they may want to also throw in Jagdeo as a part of the giveaway. And thank you for joining us once again. My name is Joshua Van Slyckman. Let's get to the news in detail. In a series, Kaieteur Radio and Kaieteur News have been exposing how Guyana lost billions in revenue after former President Donald Ramatar gave away the Kanji Blocks oil concession to Mid-Atlantic Oil and Gas, a company with zero experience, wherewithal, or track record in the industry. Now, reveal how Mid-Atlantic had strategically maneuvered its way into other aspects of Guyana's oil industry through its association with local logistic company Glass Holding Incorporated, revealing a large web of financial interconnection linkage oil majors, concession holders, government agencies, and local politicians. On their website, Glass claims that it is the only full-service one-stop logistic company that has been successfully servicing the emerging oil and gas sector in Guyana since 2011. However, we are in receipt of documents revealing that the company has only been legally registered since July 29, 2019. You are encouraged to get the full details of this story in today's Kaieteur News. Since 2012, CGX Resources Incorporated has been in possession of a license for the Currentine block. According to the agreement signed with the then government on November 12, 2012 for the offshore concession, CGX was supposed to drill at least 4 wells on the block by 2019. But this did not occur. Instead of fully meeting its obligation, CGX drilled 2 wells in 2012, both of which were abandoned for safety concerns. Since then, It made promises to drill more wells in search of oil, but never did. This pattern continued over the years. If it therefore means that even with the watered-down work program, CGX still did not honor all of its obligation in spite of the poor performance, the company is now asking the Energy Department to grant it approval to hold the block for another 3 years. And the comment from the U.S., although U.S. President Donald Trump wasn't conceding defeat, world leaders swiftly congratulated Joe Biden for his election's victory yesterday and expressed hope that the new White House will prioritize the fight against climate change. Relief was a common theme expressed in many parts of the world to the news that Trump's re-election bid failed. Congratulations poured in for Biden from world capitals, including nations governed by leaders who got along with Trump, essentially ignoring his claims that the devised elections race wasn't over. Hailing Biden's victory as an historic achievement of Kamala Harris' election as the first black woman vice president, Johnson said that he looked forward to working. Let's go that again. Hailing Biden's victory and the historic achievement of Kamala Harris' election as the first black woman, Prime Minister of the UK Boris Johnson said he looked forward to working closely together on shared priorities from climate change to trade and security. You're listening to this, your main newscast, right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 FM in Demerara and Essequibo and 99.5 FM in Berbice on our Facebook page and via our YouTube channel. We tell you now that despite sustained opposition to Exxon's flaring, the company ramped up the release of toxic gas into Guyana's atmosphere in October by increasing production at the Liza 1 operation. Information supplied by the EPA head indicates that the company flared 16.496 million standard cubic feet of gas per day, up from its previously publicized rate of 15 million cubic feet per day. Once again, you're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference. More news ahead. Stay with us.
Beginning this Sunday, Kaieteur Radio will be launching a unique program called The Glenn Lal Show. Tell it like it is. Its sole purpose is to discuss the plunder of Guyana's wealth. Join us at 7 p.m. where you will hear from the publisher, Mr. Glenn Lal himself, and senior journalists Kiana Wilberg and Kemal King. The host of the program will be Dr. Yog Mahadio. This program will also allow you to have your say. See you then.
Thank you for joining us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We continue with your main newscast right here on the radio with a difference. American oil giant ExxonMobil has claimed that from 2015 to the first half of 2020, it spent roughly $60 billion Guyana dollars on local supplies for the procurement of goods and services, with more than 700 unique Guyanese suppliers. Specifically revealing this was Exxon's local content advisors, Devon Searam. Even while the local content advisor touts Exxon's of some 600 Guyanese vendors, with over 14 billion Guyana dollars spent in the first half of 2020, the oil giant continues to fail to provide the evidence to support the claims. Since ExxonMobil began operations in 2015, the company has kept away from scrutiny in its local content reports, which would expose just how seriously it takes local capacity building. As local investigators continues their probe into a massive seizure of cocaine in Belgium, said to have been found in a container from Guyana, there is deep worry yesterday. Head of Kanu, James Singh, was concerned about the safety of a person whom investigators want to talk to. He said that Kanu is worried about the safety of Marlon Primo, the owner of MA Trading, the shipper of the container. The Kanu chief said that his entity is willing to offer protection and for Primo to make urgent contact and turn himself in for his own safety. Yesterday, investigators were busy questioning employees of GRA, including those who works in custom. Under regulations, containers considered high risk leaving Guyana have to be scanned at a specific facility on Lombard Street, Georgetown, and it is a part of the company's protocols for export. A man who was struck down by a speeding hearse on the public road in Essequibo last month succumbed to his injuries yesterday morning at the Georgetown Public Hospital. The man was identified as 56-year-old Tulsi Maniram of Hampton Court, Essequibo Coast. It is understood that sometime around 17 hours 10 last October 12th, Maniram was struck down behind from a speeding hearse, which was driven by Barrett Joseph, a resident of Zurg, Essequibo Coast. As a result of the impact, Maniram along with the motorcycle was dragged beneath the bus from some distance. The bus eventually came to a halt in a nearby trench, pinning Maniram in the process. Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagier has indicated that the government will not criminally go after the developers or victims who receive acres of prime Ogle lands, but rather he emphasized that under the APNU AFC regime who were involved in the giveaway of lands will not be spared. When asked why the government has taken the route to allow the developers to walk scot-free, Dr. Jagier reminded that those developers had never asked for the titles to be transferred to them. It is in this regard that the VP referred to developers as victims. In the same vein, however, he reminded the media that the People's Progressive Party has been warning investors not to get involved with the coalition. And finally, at this time, approximately 50 international companies have responded to the government's invitation for submission of expression of interest for the designed bill of a new Demerara Harbour Bridge. So said Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgel. The minister said companies were said to have complied with filling the necessary documents. Other interested companies have until December 4th to submit their EOI. The realization of the new four-lane high-span fixed bridge from Nandi Park East Bank Demerara to Lagrange West Bank Demerara is in keeping with the People's Progressive Party Civic Government's manifesto promise. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. Let's remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I am Joshua Van Sleckman, thanking you for joining us and encouraging you to join us at 19 hours this evening for Kaieteur Radio's newest program entitled The Glenn Lal Show.